Here is everything you will ever need to know about Minecraft villages and villagers. First, what even are villagers? Well, villagers are humanoid-looking mobs with massive noses that make Squidward-like noises. Yes, this is their way of communicating. These mobs can be traded with, which we'll go over later in the video. They live in villages, a pretty common overworld structure, and actually, before we dive into villagers themselves, let's go over how to find a village first. Villages can spawn in many different overworld biomes. This includes the plain/meadow, desert, snowy plains, taiga, savanna, and snowy taigas on Bedrock Edition. If you have one of these biomes near you in your world, and if they're big, there's a pretty good chance that a village is in it. The best method to find villages is by far searching at nighttime. Now you might be thinking, hey dude, why would I want to deal with zombies, skeletons, and the like when I'm trying to find a village? Well, villages are a lot easier to spot at night. Let me show you this biome during the day. Now you might have noticed that village in the distance, but it is a bit harder to see. However, during the nighttime, the light that the village provides is really visible, and it's a lot easier to spot now. In taiga villages, there are also smoke plumes emitted from the village campfires, so you can look for these specifically, and you can find a village that way as well. So now that you've found yourself a village, let's talk more about the village itself. Villages look different depending on the biome, but that's mainly a visual thing. All villages have some consistent characteristics. Namely, you have traditional houses and workhouses. Throughout the day, villagers mainly spend time working in their respective workhouse or workplace. There are different workplaces for each villager profession. For example, farmers, of course, work on farms. We'll go over those different workplaces for each profession later in the video though. Traditional houses are just houses with beds inside. A villager will claim a specific bed in a certain house, and when they're done working at the end of the day, they will return to the same bed where they will sleep every single night. The next important feature of the village is the town center. This place usually has a bell on it to make it identifiable. Every day after the villagers are done working, before they head off to sleep, they will have a meeting at the town center. Almost every villager will be there, and the purpose of this meeting is to discuss what happened to them during the day and to gossip about the players they met. Besides the traditional houses, the workplaces, and the town center, there will be a few other features as well, like animal pens and horse stables, but that's it. These make up pretty much the entire village. Each biome will depict these structures differently. For example, this is what one of the plains town centers looks like, and this is what the taiga one looks like. Again, this doesn't matter so much, it's mainly just a visual difference. Same thing with the villagers, they will have different outfits depending on the village to match their biome. Again, this is purely visual and it's just for immersion. Jungle and swamp villager skins do exist as well, although they are mostly unused since villagers cannot spawn naturally in these biome. So now let's go over the mobs that spawn in the village. You of course have villagers, but then you also have the Iron Golem. The Iron Golem is the village guardian. There can be one or two of these depending on the size of the village. You can also make your own Iron Golem by placing 4 iron blocks like so, and placing a carved pumpkin on top of them. Iron Golems take care of hostile mobs. None of these mobs are actually dangerous to a villager, except for a zombie or zombie related mob, but the Iron Golem will still just attack any hostile mob it sees, regardless of if it's a threat to the villagers or not. Golems are also usually friendly to the player, but don't attack them because they will retaliate against you. Also, don't attack and kill too many villagers, because that will make the Iron Golem completely hostile towards you as well. This only applies for village golems though. Iron Golems you created yourself will always be passive towards you, even if you attack them. When an Iron Golem takes damage, which is pretty likely as they are doing a lot of fighting, you can see cracks begin to form in them. This represents their current health. Of course, the closer it gets to dying, the more cracks that will form. If you want to heal an Iron Golem, you can simply give it an iron ingot. This will restore some of its health, and you can give it multiple ingots to restore it to full health. Then you got horses, pigs, cows, and sheep. Self-explanatory, these are basic farm mobs, and they will spawn in the pens and stables you find throughout the village. Camels can also spawn as another farm type animal in the desert village. And the final mob that spawns is the cat. One cat will spawn for every 4 beds in the village, cats will simply run around the village, they are tameable with COD, and they can have many different unique skins. One more very useful part of villages is also food that you can find inside. Villages commonly contain hay bales and or melons in savanna villages, which you can harvest to get some free food. Of course, you can get food from the village farms as well. Abandoned villages are also a thing. Abandoned villages will have ruined, unlit houses with cobwebs everywhere. No villagers spawn here. The only mob that spawns here is the zombie villager at night. Zombie villagers are hostile to the player and act exactly like regular zombies, except that they look like villagers. So now we know some of the mobs and the ordinary stuff that goes on within the village. But what about the out of the ordinary? What are some of the out of the ordinary things that can happen? Well, I'll give you one, and that's the Illager Raid. When a player kills a pillager captain at a pillager outpost, they will get an ominous bottle which will give them a bad omen. Upon drinking the bottle and entering this village with the bad omen, that bad omen will convert to a raid omen effect with a timer attached to it. When this timer runs out, an Illager Raid will immediately begin. Illager Raids are made up of many different waves. The number of waves depends on the difficulty, but these waves do have a few consistent mobs. In the earlier waves, you'll have the pillagers and vindicators. The pillagers are crossbow wielders, hostile to villagers and the player, and the vindicators are fast sprinting axe wielders that are also hostile to villagers. In the middle waves, you'll have witches and ravagers that spawn on top of this. Witches are mainly the healers. They focus on healing the illagers in the raid and attacking the player with potions of harming. The ravager is a massive beast-like mob that rams into the player and villagers. It can even be ridden by other illagers during the later waves in the raid, as can be seen right here. And speaking of the later waves in the raid, the evoker is one more mob that will spawn in those. These guys are sorcerers, and they will summon fangs from the ground and tiny little ghosts called vexes to attack the player and villagers. They are a real pest, so make sure to kill the evoker as soon as you can. Upon defeating all the waves of the raid, the player will get the hero of the village effect, which we'll go over later in the video as it is something important. However, if all the villagers in the village die, the illagers will win the raid instead and will celebrate. Zombie sieges are another event that can happen in villages. These are Java exclusive events, and the chance of it happening is completely random. Basically, a bunch of zombies will spawn in the town center of the village, regardless of how well lit or walled off the village is. There's no indicator that a zombie siege will start, only an unusually high number of zombies that night. Hoo-wee, did you get all of that? Good. Now that we've covered everything about the village itself, let's go over more about the villagers themselves. Remember how I said they can be traded with earlier? Yeah, let's go over that. So to understand villager trading, we first have to understand the currency. You, the player, can use emeralds as a form of currency to trade with villagers. There are two types of trades you can perform with a villager. You can either give them emeralds in exchange for a certain item they have, in which case it's a buying trade. You're buying the item from them by spending emeralds. Or you can gain emeralds from giving them a certain item, i.e. it's a selling trade. You sell an item to the villager and they pay you emeralds in exchange for it. Easiest way to remember, a buying trade equals you spend emeralds, a selling trade equals you gain emeralds. This is really important, so make sure to note it down. The amount of items the villager can trade for is determined by its badge, which indicates the villager's level. Every employed villager, regardless of profession, starts out as a novice with a coal badge. Novice level villagers will only have one or two basic trades. However, you can slowly level up novice villagers by trading with them. Trading with them fills this bar at the top, and once it's full, the villager will level up once you exit the trading interface. Once you level them up from novice, they will become an apprentice. Apprentice level villagers have an iron badge and will have 2 trades added on top to make 4 trades in total. Going further up the ranks, journeyman villagers have a gold badge and will have 6 different trades. Following that level, expert villagers have an emerald badge and will offer 7 to 8 different trades. And finally, master villagers have a diamond badge and can offer 9 to 10 different trades. Keep in mind, each time the villager levels up, the 2 extra trades added with each level get better and better as you level them up. Expert and master level trades are usually the best and rarest trades the villager has to offer. Also, if you want to quickly level up a villager, you can click on the trade and it'll actually show you by how much it will level up the villager. Next, profession. professions. A villager's trades and the theme of its trades are dictated by its profession. Remember how I said earlier that employed villagers start out as novices regardless of profession? Well, villagers can have 13 different professions, and these are basic jobs like a farmer or a fisherman, things like that. Villagers can also be unemployed. One type of unemployed villager is the brown coat. These guys look different depending on the village, however you can identify them easily as they don't have a badge. They cannot trade with the player, however they will still seek a profession. To seek a profession, they will look for any type of workstation block nearby. If they find one that's accessible, they'll claim it, which will cause them to acquire the associated profession. Green coat villagers or nitwits do not acquire jobs and cannot be traded with no matter what. They are basically useless, do not waste your time with them. Anyways, after getting the job, the former brown coat villager will work at that workstation throughout the day where it will restock its trades. As when you trade with the villager, they do eventually run out of supply if you do a certain trade too much, so they do need to restock. And each villager profession has their own unique workstation block attached to them. So let's go over each of these in detail along with the beneficial trades each profession can provide. First up, we got the farmer villager. This villager uses a composter as its workstation and also likes to farm. Big surprise, right? Well, most of the things you can sell to farmer involve mainly crops. You can give them wheat for emeralds, melons for emeralds, potatoes for emeralds, you get the idea. You can also buy food from them. They can give you some good food like bread at novice levels, and even golden carrots and cake once you level them up to expert and master. Then we got the armorer. This guy uses a blast furnace as his workstation. Here's the recipe for that item. For selling, you can sell this villager coal, iron ingots, and buckets of lava. But this villager's main use is for, of course, buying armor. You can buy from them chain armor, iron armor, and even diamond armor at expert and master levels. They're actually a way to get full diamond armor without mining any diamonds, which is really cool. Then we got the stonemason villager, or simply the mason if you're on Java. This villager uses the stone cutter as its workstation. You can sell them different types of rocks like stone, granite, and even diorite. This villager's novice level trade, 10 clay balls for an emerald, is also one of the best villager trades in Minecraft. Outside of that though, you can buy from them terracotta, variants of chiseled stone, and quartz blocks at the higher levels. After that, the butcher. This villager uses a smoker as their workstation. You can sell them different types of raw meats such as pork chops, rabbit, beef, and chicken. At expert and master levels, you can also sell him dried kelp blocks along with sweet berries. Besides that, you can buy mainly cooked meat, which can be useful if you don't want to farm too many animals. Then the cartographer. This villager uses the cartography table as its workstation. You can sell them paper, glass panes, and compasses. You can also buy off from them some good things too though, like explorer maps, which can be used to track down rare structures. Besides that, you can also buy banners, banner patterns, and item frames. After that, the cleric. This villager uses the brewing stand as its workstation. Selling wise, you can sell them rotten flesh, which is awesome, gold, netherwort, glass bottles, stuff like that. Their buys are okay. You can buy ender pearls at expert level, which is really useful, along with lapis and glowstone at lower levels. Following that, the fisherman. This villager uses a barrel as its workstation. They have some really good selling trades. You can sell them string, coal, and fish like cod and salmon. If you have yourself an AFK fish farm, the fisherman will be one of your biggest cash cows. Their buying trades aren't as amazing though. You can buy from them cooked cod, which is okay food I guess, enchanted fishing rods, and boats, so still decent. After that, the fletcher, which uses the fletching table as its workstation. This villager again has some amazing selling trades. You can sell them sticks for emeralds, one of the best villager trades in Minecraft, and you can also sell them string and flint. Buying wise, you can buy from this villager arrows, quite a decent trade, and you can also buy from them enchanted bows and crossbows at higher levels. At master level, you can possibly buy tipped arrows of any kind, and in Bedrock Edition, it's actually possible to get arrows of decay, which can't be made otherwise in survival. The leather worker, who uses the cauldron as their workstation. You can sell this villager leather, flint, and rabbit hides. You can also buy from them leather armor, leather horse armor, and saddles, which can be pretty useful. Then the shepherd, who uses a loom as their workstation. You can sell this villager wool, can be white, black, brown, or gray. Along with that, dyes of any color, which is really nice. You can buy from them shears and different colors of wool and carpets. You can also buy beds, banners, and paintings at master level. Following that, the toolsmith, who uses a smithing table as their workstation. You can sell this villager coal, iron ingots, and flint, but their job is for you to buy tools from them. They will start out selling you stone tools at novice level at a ridiculous price, which is really rough, but if you do level them up, you can buy enchanted iron and diamond tools, which is pretty nice. The weaponsmith, who uses the grindstone as their workstation. You can sell this villager coal, iron ingots, and flint. Again though, their purpose is for you to buy weapons. Starting out, you can buy iron axes and enchanted iron swords, and once you level them up, you'll be able to buy enchanted diamond axes and enchanted diamond swords as well. The librarian, who uses the lectern as their workstation. Keep in mind, it's also important for them to have access to bookshelves as it helps them work better. Trading wise, you can sell this villager paper and ink sacks. But where this villager's real value lies is in their buys. You can buy from them enchanted books in exchange for a regular book plus some emeralds. One librarian villager can sell you up to 4 enchanted books once you fully leveled them up. The enchanted books they sell will always contain a single enchantment. The enchantment itself and the level of the enchantment are completely random. It can be almost any enchantment in the game. Librarians also have lanterns, bookshelves, and name tags at the master level. Each villager profession also has its own unique workplace that looks different depending on the biome, and if you want to know what workplace it is, all you need to do is look at the job site block inside of it. That will immediately give you an indicator of who works there. But there is one really important workplace you should know. You should be able to identify this workplace in any village. It's the blacksmith or weaponsmith house. This house not only contains a grindstone, which is the weaponsmith's workstation, it also has a chest full of valuable loot. This can include iron ingots, iron tools, diamonds, obsidian, and the like. So in the early game, this house is super useful. You need to be able to identify it. The plains, desert, snowy, and savanna blacksmith houses are identifiable by the lava and the iron bars. In the taiga village, the house looks like this. It's kind of 2 windows at the top, little hedge below that, and then 2 grindstones out in front. Sorry for that little interruption. That's just really important information to know. There's still one more kind of villager we need to talk about. Now we got the unique wandering trader. This trader is not a villager and does not live in villages. It spawns randomly nearby the player, and they don't use a workstation or anything like that. You can only buy things from them. You cannot sell them anything, and you can buy from them items that are unavailable in the biome that the wandering trader spawned in. The trader will offer 6 trades, which can be very miscellaneous. Potential items include a bunch of different flowers, along with different seeds, dye, coral, different types of ice, including blue ice, saplings, and nautilus shells. Not insanely useful, but I guess coral and ice can definitely be nice. But possibly the most useful feature of the wandering trader is the fact that it drops leads when you kill it. Definitely very nice, but do be careful of the llamas, since they will get really angry and start spitting at you. A very useful piece of information is that you can switch a villager's trades by breaking their workstation and placing it down again. The villager will get unemployed and then re-employed, causing it to get new trades. And for librarians, this is particularly useful for changing the enchantment that they sell to the one that you actually want. Keep in mind though, once you trade with a villager, their trades automatically get locked. So even if you break their workstation after that, they will not become unemployed nor reset their trades. It's also possible to get discounts or raised prices from villagers, but small and huge depending on your actions towards them. Hitting a villager will cause them to immediately raise their prices for all their trades. They will also gossip about it to other villagers at the town meeting, so other villagers end up raising their prices for you too. Killing a villager causes even more negative gossip among villagers. If you do a specific trade many times to the point that the villager runs out of stock for it, the villager, upon restocking, will sometimes raise the price for that trade and slightly lower the prices for some of its other trades. Basically, it's supply and demand if you want to research about that. But if you want to get a truly massive discount from villagers, it's actually really simple. The first method is to fight and defeat a Illager Raid. This will give you the hero of the village effect, which will not only cause villagers to throw items at your feet, Java edition only, they will also significantly reduce their prices to thank you for defeating the threat. But this effect only lasts for a few in-game days. So another even better method to get discounts is through zombification. First, set your difficulty to hard. Then you're going to wait until nighttime and you're going to find a zombie. Shouldn't be too difficult, I mean they are literally everywhere. The reason we need zombies is that zombies can turn villagers into zombie villagers upon killing them. On hard difficulty, there is a 100% chance of this happening. These zombie villagers can also be cured back into regular villagers, and I'll explain why this is good in a second. Zombify any villager you want, and then splash the zombie villager with a splash potion of weakness and give it a golden apple. It will begin to shake violently, and after a few minutes, it will be cured back into a regular villager. Now watch this. The villager we just cured from zombification is giving us huge discounts in return, and they should because we literally brought them back from the dead. So finally, let's talk about how to breed villagers and repopulate a village if you need to. Just useful information if any of your villagers are killed or went missing or something. You can do this in a regular old village or in some random hole with beds, your choice. Villagers need two key things to breed in Minecraft. 1, food, and 2, beds. First, food. Before you do anything, you need to make sure the villagers have food in their inventory. You can give the villagers food by simply dropping it on the ground, and they will pick it up if it's close to them. What types of food can you give them? Well, you can give them 3 bread each, 12 carrots each, or 12 potatoes each. Bread is probably the easiest out of the 3. Make sure you give 3 to 4 villagers in the village 3 pieces of bread each. After that, beds. For villagers to breed, the number of beds in the village needs to exceed the number of villagers. So if there's 3 villagers, there needs to be at least 4 beds. The easiest way to create a surplus is to simply go around the village and place extra beds in their houses. Make sure the extra beds are in an accessible area. Don't put a bed on a roof thinking it's going to work. One more thing to note, villagers will not breed during work hours. They'll only breed after their work is done or during the town meeting. During this, they will enter love mode, where they will create a baby villager. After this, the villager cannot breed for another 5 minutes. If you guys did enjoy this video, then please consider dropping a like and a sub, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.